just now. And it's titled Google Faces a New Antitrust Probe by 50 Attorneys General. The article says 50 Attorneys General are joining an investigation into Google over possible antitrust violations. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the initiative's leader, announced on Monday. The news confirms reports last week about the bipartisan investigation into Google's practices. The bipartisan probe includes attorney generals from 48 states, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico. California and Alabama are not involved in the probe, Paxton said at a press conference. At the press conference Monday announcing the probe, attorneys general emphasized Google's dominance in the ad market and the use of consumer data. When there is no longer a free market or competition, this increases prices even when something is marketed as free and harms consumers, said Florida State Attorney General Ashley Moody, Republican. Is something really free if we increasingly giving over our privacy? I think they meant private information. Is something really free if online ad prices go up based on one company's control? Good question. The investigation will take place as Facebook faces its own investigation, faces its own antitrust probe led by New York Attorney General Letitia James, which I'm assuming is a Democrat, because for whatever reason, I guess it's important to say when somebody's a Republican, but not important to say when they're a Democrat. Super stupid, but whatever. Plus 7 states and the District of Columbia. At the press conference announcing the news Monday, Carl Rassin, a Democrat, there you go, said it remains to be seen if the two probes will be a coordinated expansion. So this is huge news. This is like massive news. And the reason why is because Google, this isn't like the first time or that Google has been investigated. They've been investigated before, and it's mostly been for privacy stuff, same as Facebook. And they got their fines, they took their licks, and then they moved on with the world. The problem is that didn't really lead to anything productive, right? We all know the answer. The answer is though, didn't lead to anything productive. Now, when that happens, people just get pissed off and Google continues to do what they do, because what's a fine to Google? What's a fine to Facebook? What's a fine to YouTube? This is different. Whenever Facebook got in trouble and Google gets in trouble and YouTube gets in trouble, nothing really happens because it's myself talking about it. It's you complaining about it. It's, the people who don't have the money to go toe to toe with Google, to be completely honest with you. So nothing gets done. So this evolved from a privacy issue, which is still a huge issue, but an issue that Google has basically skated by every single year. They actually they have several privacy violations. They get fined. They pay the fine, and they continue to violate people's privacy because it's worth more money. Like they make more money than they are fined, and therefore they're going to continue to violate. But this is different. This is not a privacy inquiry. This is an antitrust inquiry. And this isn't an antitrust inquiry done by 1 state, 2 states, 3 states, or the Republicans or the Democrats. No. This is an antitrust inquiry being done by 50 state attorneys general, including District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. Now, the article does go on to say that this is a big deal because it isn't just about fines. If they find quote unquote anti-competitive behavior within the walls of Google, they will be forced to do things like allow competitors to have, adjust their algorithms to allow competitors to have more influence. Adjust that algorithm. They won't just be for Google, by the way, it will be for YouTube also. Anybody under the parent company Alphabet. So YouTube will also be included in that algorithm adjustment if they find anti-competitive behavior in Google. I think it's important to talk about the fact that I don't think this is a coincidence. I think that they said that there was, murmurs of this happening last week. As we know, 2 weeks ago, what happened? Zach, from the former Google employee, did the document dump right after a press conference that was held by Google CEO, where he said, he was asked directly, does YouTube or Google have a blacklist? They were like, nah, nuh-uh. And then Zach literally looked it up and they absolutely had a blacklist. So like, don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening right after this Google document dump. Don't think it's a coincidence that this is happening right after Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard had her ads blocked the night after a debate. The night after she won a debate and was the most Googled topic, or the most Googled candidate, excuse me. She's suing for $50 million. So a member of the legislature is suing Google at this point. So this ain't small potato stuff, bruh. This is like, that is the definition of anti-competitive behavior. I'm curious if they're gonna look into the behavior not only from this year, but in 2015, 2016, when the Google CEO was literally working with Hillary Clinton to influence the outcome of an election. That's not a big deal. Now, let's be honest. They're not conducting this investigation, in my opinion, because they just care so deeply about what's happening. I don't think that's not why they're doing it. Let's be real. They're doing it because a few businesses, somebody was losing some money. That's usually when the ball starts to get rolling, is when a business loses some money and they're like, yo, what's up with this? Where my money at? I'm spending all this money, but I'm not getting any return. Hey, it isn't, whatever has to happen to make it happen, I'm all for it happening. So I'm kind of excited about, like, I was excited when Tulsi decided to sue Google, but that was more so for political reasons because it showed she made a statement. I didn't think anybody would be taking it that seriously, but it did mean a lot politically. I was even excited when I saw conservatives stepping up to YouTube and Google, and they started their massive lawsuit. Then I found out that Rainbow Coalition, the LGBTQ community, is also suing YouTube for discrimination. Like, they wouldn't even let the LGBTQ community on YouTube run ads. And literally the reason why is because they're LGBTQ. So like, when you're talking about that type of coalition of lawsuits and investigations and inquiries opening up, and then you couple that with a bipartisan effort from 50 state attorneys general, now things are looking up, and something is likely to be done now, because once it gets to this level of popularity, like and when there's this much awareness of something so dramatic like what we're seeing here, same thing happened to AT&T once upon a time. That's why a lot of these spin-off companies exist now. Once there's that much heightened awareness, it gets political, and you're not going to have 50 state attorneys general not come up with something big when you went out of your way to make a statement by having that many people involved, and they're even considering having it alongside an antitrust inquiry of Facebook. That means you're trying to make a statement, and so that is good news, and we might start to see some accountability here, and hopefully there will start being more antitrust regulation specifically geared towards big tech companies. So thank you so much for tuning into this live stream segment in breaking news. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed if you're watching now, because you know how that game goes. You know how YouTube plays, Google. I'm be forcing people to unsubscribe from my channel. You should have saw what they did to me last week, y'all. For real. I interviewed Zach over his Google dump. They hit me for like 4 or 5 days straight. Just forced unsubscribes, demonetizations, algorithm suppression for 4 or 5 days straight. Not even joking. So thank you all so much for tuning into that segment, though. Make sure you still subscribe, leave a like and a comment below. I'd love to know what your thoughts are about this, but always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter,
and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.